I just want to welcome everyone to Ontario's Highlands 2024. We are always encouraged by the engagement of the tourism sector, and quite frankly, it's a reflection of why most of us are in this business. It's a people business, and without our relationships and the sharing of ideas, we simply couldn't be a tourism destination. We come together in challenging times, and we celebrate successes together. I'm grateful to be in this business, and there is much to be grateful for. We are extremely fortunate by living, working, and welcoming visitors to a region with such natural abundance and opportunity. At this time, I would like to offer a special acknowledgement to the Indigenous peoples who have been stewards of this land from time immemorial. The tourism region called Ontario's Highlands is on traditional Algonquin territory and is acknowledged by Indigenous peoples as unceded. To the southeast, Ontario's Highlands is on Mohawk territory. To the west-southwest, Ontario's Highlands is on Ojibwe territory. I invite you to join me in acknowledging this land and the hardships that we have endured due to colonization and the privileges we enjoy from this suffering. We do this so we may become grounded in our commitment to finding peace at an intersection between Indigenous and Western worldviews, and charting a new path forward towards strengthening our allyship with Indigenous peoples in all that we do. We are called to treat this land, its waterways, plants, animals, stories, and its people with honor and respect. All my relations. Now I'd like to introduce Nicole Whiting, OHTO's Executive Director, to highlight what's come today.
Just wanted to welcome everyone, and again, as Megan did, but thank you so much for taking the time to join us for our AGM. Each of you would have received a delegate package emailed to you from OHTO via Eventbrite, and this package included the agenda, motions, bios of our directors and staff, and today's guest speaker, as well as our financial statements and updated bylaws. So if you don't have that handy, we are providing a link in the chat for easy reference. Now, by now, most of you are familiar with Zoom and some of the headaches it can sometimes bring us, but the virtual environment is, obviously quite commonplace now, and there are a few things that we do need to recap. This meeting, as you heard earlier on, is recorded, and the link will be available along with copies of all presentations in our post-event wrap-up email sent shortly following this event. If you do not wish to be recorded, please keep your mic on mute and your camera turned off for the duration of this event. We have a very full agenda, and to ensure we stay on track, we ask that everyone stay muted and use the chat function to share your comments or ask any questions during our presentations. The chat will be monitored regularly, and responses will be posted back in the chat, or if time permitting, addressed verbally during our session. Any unanswered questions will be shared along with our answers in the post-event wrap-up email. So please don't be hesitant about engaging with us through that chat function. In fact, engagement is the key to getting the most out of our time together, whether it's through asking questions, participating in our game break, sharing your ideas in the Spark session, or filling out our very important post-event survey. We value your contributions, and we have a few gifts we plan on giving away as a sign of our appreciation. So let's get started. Megan, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. So let's move us forward into our annual general meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 10:07 a.m. During the AGM, OHTO members will be called upon to put forward, second, and vote on various motions. If you're not a member of OHTO, please refrain from participating in this process. If there are multiple attendees representing the same member organization, please select your designated representative, as only one individual per organization is eligible to vote. We ask that members use the chat when putting your name forward for motions. If you would like to move or second a motion, simply type out your name when a motion is presented. I will repeat the names as we move through the motion. Once the motion is on the table, I will call for discussion. Again, please type your questions in that chat box. If there is no discussion, rather than asking all in favor, I will simply say anyone opposed. and give a moment for people to state their name in the chat should they not support the motion presented. So assuming everyone's clear, let's get things started. So can I get a motion that the agenda be adopted as presented? Thank you, Chris, and seconded by Cindy. Any discussion? Seeing none. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Thank you. So moving on to last year's minutes, can I get a motion that the minutes of the October 17th, 2023 AGM be approved as presented? Thank you, Barbara. Do we have a seconded by Barry Martin? Thank you so much. Discussion, anyone? Seeing none, anyone opposed to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Thank you. Now I would like to present the CGO reports. Again, I would like to welcome everyone and thank you for joining us today. I know it's been a busy tourism season for all of us. Over the past year, Ontario's Highlands tourism organizations, board of directors, and staff have been focused on continuing our efforts to help visitors explore our region in more sustainable ways so our communities are strengthened from the full value of tourism, including the social, cultural, environmental, and economic benefits that come from a thriving visitor economy. Our work has been fueled by partnerships, tapping into available funding, and keeping our wander sustainability approach front of mind. This year has been an exciting time as we've witnessed global travel beginning to recover. While this has brought new challenges, it has also given us an opportunity to rethink how we leverage our efforts in a more sustainable future. Both the board and OHTO team have been actively engaging in finding innovative ways to support the tourism industry while keeping sustainability and community development at the forefront. It has been an absolute pleasure to work with my fellow directors in collaborating with the operational team to prepare our region for the future. I'd like to share just a few highlights from it. Financial resources are an ongoing challenge for our sector, and we are excited to see the action being taken in several municipalities across the region to explore and implement a municipal accommodation tax. We have been working with various communities to share knowledge around how best to tap into this revenue-generating opportunity and how it can offer long-term financial stability and investment for tourism development efforts. Watching other communities starting to see the benefits of these extra dollars and using them to accomplish their community goals through tourism is inspiring. Pembroke has officially adopted the MAT, and it will roll out beginning in 2025, with other regions sure to do the same in the coming year. We look forward to seeing the direct benefits this will have on our region and continuing the conversation surrounding the opportunities it presents. The additional funding source is an amazing opportunity for OHTO to work with our communities to further leverage the funding we receive with gratitude annually through the Regional Tourism Organization Program from the Ontario Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Gaming. We are also privileged to once again be working with FedDev Ontario, this time as recipients of their Tourism Growth Program. The additional funding we received will help to expand our very popular Ride the Highlands motorcycle program and launch a new cycle tourism initiative. Many businesses this summer took part in the Ride the Highlands patch program, which had patches for each route available for riders to pick up along the way. This was an amazing way to showcase our region and also provide operators with an opportunity to connect with the riders. You'll hear more about these later in the Executive Director's report. Finally, we have made incredible strides developing our reputation as an international travel destination through our Travel Trade Partnership Program. Involvement in this program is at the expense of the partner and varies from experiences to boutique hotels to off-grid accommodations to adventure tourism and so many more amazing businesses in the region. The partners, along with Holly and Nicole, have worked tirelessly hosting fam tours and travel trade buyers to really showcase our region to the overseas market. Having participated in our first summer as a travel trade partner, the amount of overseas visitors we saw was absolutely wonderful and very welcome. Being able to connect and share our region, our lakes, our rivers, our highlands, and our stories with guests from all over the world was amazing. Seeing the reaction to what we have to offer was very humbling. The partnership was actually one of only a few to be selected to represent Ontario in Paris at the upcoming Showcase Travel Trade Conference, which is pretty amazing. As we look ahead, we are eager to continue building on these efforts, and we remain committed to creating a thriving, responsible tourism industry in Ontario's Highlands. And we also have some things planned for celebrating our 15th year anniversary next year. So thank you for joining us today and for your continued support. So much of our success depends on the engagement of our industry, and we encourage you to stay curious about how to get more involved with us. Speaking on behalf of the board, your input is so important and helps us to inform our decisions when we are determining how best to support the tourism sector in our region. Take advantage of the learning opportunities, answer those surveys, and book a discovery call with OHTO's operational team. We look forward to working together to make our region even stronger in the years to come. And that completes the CGO report. Can I get a motion that the members of Ontario's Highlands Tourism Organization accept the CGO's report as presented? Thanks, Elijah, for moving that. Thank you to Sean for seconding that. Any discussion? I'm seeing none. Anyone opposed to this motion? Seeing none, the motion is carried. Now I'd like to turn it over to Nicole for the presentation of the financial statements and the appointment of the auditor.
Thanks, Megan. Just a reminder, those financial statements are included in the delegate package. So that's what I'm referencing as I inform the attendees here about this portion on the agenda. So OHTO receives annual funding that is renewed each year through the Regional Tourism Program. That's administered by the Ontario government through the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Gaming. In addition to the base funding we received from the provincial government, we also received a portion of the grant we were awarded from FedDev Ontario through their tourism growth program for the Ride the Highlands program. As part of our funding agreements, we are required to conduct a financial audit for the fiscal year beginning April 1st, 2023 and ending March 31st, 2024. We must also submit a final report to each funder detailing the work and the results we have accomplished with the funding. Additionally, the board monitors compliance of executive limitation policies on a regular basis, so there is that internal oversight as well, including those related to budgeting and reporting protocols. The financial statements distributed to you have been approved by the board, have been accepted by our funders, and have been rigorously audited with a clean result. So with that, can I get a motion that the members of Ontario's Highlands Tourism Organization accept the 2023-24 financial statements as presented? So I have Chris moving the motion. Can I get someone to second that motion? And Barbara is seconding that motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on to anyone opposed to this motion. Okay, seeing none, that motion is carried. Moving on to the appointment of the auditors. Since their appointment as OHTO's auditors in 2022, Baker Tilly has met the expectations of the board and has provided value for dollar. As such, the board wishes to reappoint Baker Tilly out of Pembroke as the OHTO auditors for the 2024-2025 fiscal. Can I get a motion to appoint Baker Tilly out of the Pembroke office as Ontario's Highlands Tourism Organization's 2024-2025 auditors? Moved by Megan. Is there someone to second, please? Just looking for a seconder. Seconded by Chris. Anyone opposed to this motion? Seeing none, that motion is carried. So we can move on to the next agenda item. Megan, back over to you.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Nicole. So the next agenda item kept our policy committee very busy this past year. Ontario's Not-for-Profit Corporations Act was proclaimed on October 19th, 2021. Not-for-profits have until October 18th, 2024 to update their bylaws and letters patent to comply with ONCA. The policy committee took on the task of becoming familiar with ONCA requirements and revising our bylaws to ensure compliance. The bylaws distributed to you in advance of this meeting are the renewed bylaws amended in accordance with this act. A huge thank you to the members of the policy committee for taking on this important task. So I would invite someone to move that the members of Ontario's Highlands Tourism Organization approve the amendments to the general bylaws as presented to comply with the Ontario Not-for-Profits Corporations Act 2010. Moved by Barbara. Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Jess. Thank you so much. Any discussion? Seeing none. Anyone opposed to the motion? Seeing none. All in favor, this motion is passed. So as we make our way to our next agenda item, I would like to call upon Barry Martin, who is the chair of our nominating committee and member of our board of directors, for the presentation of the slate of nominees to the board of directors.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from the Haliburton Highlands. As Megan mentioned, I'm the chair of the nominations committee for OHTO. The nominations committee is tasked with recruiting and selecting a slate of candidates to recommend to the membership to fill annual vacancies. Directors serve on the board for a period of 3 years on a staggered basis, meaning a minimum of a third of the seats on the board becomes vacant each year. The members of the OHTO entrust the nominating committee through the bylaws with the important task of recruiting and evaluating candidates based on the specific needs of the board. The goal of this process is to recommend to the membership a slate of nominees it considers the best fit to fill the vacancies at the AGM. Heading into this AGM, 4 seats became available due to terms expiring. The nominating committee received nominations from directors wishing to renew their seat, as well as from members who are applying to the board for the first time. We had a total of 8 applications for 4 positions. The nominating committee concluded its evaluation of each candidate based on a matrix established by the board. And as a result, we are proud to present the following slate of nominees to the membership. Melissa Markart, Ottawa Valley Tourism Association and a returning director. Vanessa Dow, the Lake Lanark County Tourism and returning director. Mike Hage, Myers Cave Resort and returning director. Jeff Jackson, Algonquin Fly Fishing and Professor and Coordinator at Algonquin College, and also a returning director. So thanks to all who applied for a position on the board. That was the first time we've had that level of interest, a testament to the health and viability of the organization. We, the nominating committee, certainly had our work cut out for us. All applicants were strong candidates and was a good test of the selection process. Not only are we pleased to have returning directors, but we have a growing roster of strong candidates to call upon should there be an opportunity to serve, should an opportunity to serve on the board arise. With that, I would now like to call for a motion for the following motion: to acclaim the slate of nominees to fill the vacancies on the board of directors as presented. Could I have someone to move, please? Is that Sean has moved? Seconder? I guess Ryan has moved and Sean has seconded. I will interpret it that way. Any discussion?
Barry, just to interrupt, we need someone to second the motion. We've got,
I've got Ryan.
yeah, and we've got Eric as the seconder.
Okay. Any discussion? Not seeing any. Does anyone object to the motion? Hearing no objections, the motion is now carried. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations to the slate of nominees. In particular, thanks to the nominating committee as we work through a really interesting process this year.
Thank you so much, Barry. And thank you to the nominating committee, and welcome back to the directors. We look forward to working with you this year. So we are now at our first break of this morning, and I'd like to introduce Kasey Rogerson. She is OHTO's Director of Industry Development, and she's got something super fun lined up for us.
Thanks, Megan, and good morning, everyone. Thank you. Congratulations to Barbara, Kristen, and Sean. As our scavenger hunt winners, I'm really excited to tell you that you are going to receive a gift from us, which is a copy of the Anishinaabe 101. It's the basics of what you need to know to begin your journey on the Red Road. This is written and published by the Circle of Turtle Lodge, and I'll follow up with each of you to coordinate getting your gifts. So congratulations. And I just wanted to share real quick that I came across this booklet actually last year. And it actually starts back in 2022 when I first attended a webinar through Algonquin College on the Indigenous cultural awareness. It was facilitated by Amy Bailey, who's with the Circle of Turtle Lodge. And it was from this very session that I was inspired to have an Expand Your Knowledge session in 2023 that was once again facilitated by Amy. And while I found myself curious for more, it was Amy who recommended this booklet. And I too cannot recommend it enough as a great resource to learn about the Anishinaabe knowledge and stories. And so for our scavenger hunt winners, I hope you too enjoy this booklet. And now I'll bring it back to Megan.
Miigwech.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kasey. What a super fun game to get us out of our seats. And congratulations to all of the winners. And for those of you interested in getting your own copy of the Anishinaabe 101 booklet by the Circle of Turtle Lodge, we've shared the link in the chat. So you guys can grab your own copy. Now I'd like to continue with the AGM and bring Nicole back to present the Executive Director's report.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. The Executive Director Report is our yearly opportunity to provide our members with a better understanding of who we are as an organization, our purpose, how we approach accomplishing our purpose, and the programming and opportunities available to you that will benefit your business and organization directly, as well as strengthen the region as a whole. As Megan mentioned, next year will be our organization's 15th year in operation. And so the Remember When theme had some added significance for us as we prepared for this presentation. We are an organization that has always aimed high in spite of our modest resources. And I am very grateful to say our accomplishments are shared with our dynamic and committed board, our innovative and ambitious internal and external operational team, and of course, you, our dedicated and passionate industry. We are proud of what we've been able to achieve together and in our collective ability to overcome some pretty significant challenges over the years. We want to extend our thanks, of course, to the Ontario Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Gaming and FedDev Ontario, whose funding support makes all of this possible. Joining me today for this presentation of the Executive Director Report and to speak to their specific roles and projects are OHTO's Marketing Director, Luisa Sorrentino, as well as OHTO's Director of Industry Development, who you've already met, Kasey Rogerson. The three of us make up the core operational team, but a huge shout out also has to go out to our extended OHTO family at Dragonfly Communications, Amy and Finn Hogue, who have helped bring our Come Wander content marketing strategy to life in various capacities over the past 8 years. So, who are we? As an organization, we are one of 13 not-for-profit regional tourism organizations established and funded by the province of Ontario to support the tourism sector in our respective regions. What sets our regions apart from the other 13 RTOs is we are entirely rural. Our largest town is Petawawa in Renfrew County with a population of 17,000. We are the second largest geographically with over 23,840 square kilometers, which amounts to about 3 hours to drive border to border. We work with 6 counties, 45 municipalities, and just over 1,200 tourism-related establishments to leverage our resources towards building a sustainable, thriving destination. So how do we go about doing that? Well, our purpose as an organization is to strengthen our communities through responsible tourism. We understand the tourism sector is interconnected with the health of our communities because the experiences we build and promote to our visitors are the reasons we are proud to live, work, and invest in our region. The revenues brought in from the visitors is outside money that diversifies our economies and creates greater stability for our businesses who can look beyond the local customer base to stay viable. The tax revenues generated from tourism can support the delivery of services to residents from our government. The tourism sector is also more than just sleep, eat, play. Who we are as a community, our values, our character is what truly defines our destination. We are a region that is fortunate to enjoy an abundance of outdoor experiences and space to wander. Our small towns are full of people who have been in this area for generations and have rich stories to tell. Since launching our Wander Sustainably approach back in 2021, the guiding principles of our 3 core values of inclusivity, community alignment, and sustainability have been applied to everything we do and set the stage for how we work with our partners. You can see the list of what we do, just from a functional perspective, as well as that long list of partners. And there are many more that we apply these principles to. Not only do we feel good about the positive changes we are seeing in our work as a result of this approach, but we are so excited about the regional story that's unfolding. Our Wander Sustainably approach has enabled us to tell an even better story because it requires that we go beyond monitoring traditional tourism metrics. Kasey's going to speak more in depth about our annual Spotlight on the Region that we release every January. But I just want to point out that we are collecting and analyzing qualitative and quantitative data that answers these 3 questions. How is our tourism sector performing? So this encompasses the more common measurements such as visitation, spending, trip motivations, etc. Next is how has tourism performance impacted our communities? This includes contributions to the tax base, but also taps into quality of life indicators as well. And how much is being invested in the tourism sector in our region? This will give us the ability to reflect on the supply side of tourism. As with anything in life, we get what we put into something, and including the investment in tourism provides important context for any output results we are seeing. We are excited to get deeper into the story with you in January, but I'm really proud to share with you additional evidence that we are on to something great. So 2 years ago, we headed down the road of working with GreenStep Solutions to help us achieve our Wander Sustainably goals. Their program is built around the criteria established by the Global Sustainable Tourism Council and is in alignment with the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We took part in a rigorous assessment, review, and verification process that assesses sustainability performance across 4 categories: environmental, socioeconomic, natural and cultural, and management. I am so excited to share with you that OHTO and the Ontario's Highlands region has officially received bronze certification. So I know we can't hear you, but this is definitely a call for applause. So this certification is validation that collectively we are working to improve our sustainability performance and reducing our negative impacts. We are going beyond just talk. There is still so much work to be done, but it's clear we are not starting from scratch, and our Wander Sustainably goals are within reach. We hope to be a source of inspiration that committing to taking small steps done consistently over time can move you down the road to sustainability. In fact, as an example of small steps that made a big difference, we were honored to be selected to be part of Destination Think's 100 Travel Innovation event launched on World Tourism Day. Halliburton's rideshare program was featured and demonstrated that grassroots efforts are important motivators to drive change. Our keynote speaker will tell you more later. This global recognition is fantastic, but at the end of the day, no doubt many of you are asking, yeah, but will this really drive visitation to the region? That story is developing, and Luisa and Kasey will be able to expand on this shortly. But what if I told you that Luisa and Finn have been invited to Austin, Texas, to present at the C conference because CrowdRiff noticed the high levels of engagement with our content and was hoping we could share our secrets with their delegates. So we are leading the way, and we are so grateful to be on this journey with all of you. I would now like to introduce OHTO's Marketing Director, Luisa Sorrentino, who will share some of those special little secrets of success. So Luisa, over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Nicole. I won't sway from what my notes are, I promise, but if you do want to contact me after, if you have questions, by all means. So in 2023-24, we focused on the stories of the Highlands and the people that are making an impact. So whether it was on the waterways, environment, food, people, and everything that we have to offer, the featured individuals are the ones that are changing the face of our region and doing good. So those were the locally inspired. Through these stories and the campaign, we aim to enhance the engagement with the local community and build the destination's brand through our communities, and in turn, and turning the local experience into a visitor experience. So all the while, we're supporting the messaging of our responsible tourism journey. So this created local and authentic influencers who inspired and motivated the visitors to experience, see, and do as the locals do. So we continue to build the destination through our people, and more people are hearing about us and engaging with our content. So we are generating great exposure of our region through creating awareness, and our audience is interested in what we're sharing and they're showing it with their engagement. And so they're considering traveling to our region, and that results in referrals to operators. And so the sales speak and back up our statistics that we have in here. Next is this summer, we had the Remember When campaign, which is also the theme of our AGM, which had the goal to connect visitors to the Ontario's Highlands as a place to relive their memories and create new ones, driving repeat visitation from guests and evoking all those memories of the slow summers, so that they could, so that visitors could view the itineraries and drive, and we could drive referrals to the operators in our beautiful Ontario's Highlands. And so we've used high impact storytelling and something that connected emotionally with the visitors to the region. And the call to action was to view and download the itinerary, again talking about engagement. The numbers were impressive, even almost 1.5 million impressions and almost 37,000 engagements with our content, so between downloading the itinerary and viewing the videos and so forth. Another thing that we've also invested on was this beautiful and successful partnership with the Culinary Tourism Alliance and our DMOs, of course, to create and administer an engaging digital and social media campaign that highlighted the region's food and drink experiences, supporting by high quality visuals and content. So the campaign was published by Ontario Culinary Channels, and of course amplified by us, Ontario's Highlands, and all our DMOs partners. The focus, again, and this is still going on, is to authentically connect the visitors with culinary tourism activities in the area, increasing recognition of our Come Wander brand and driving traffic to the comewander.ca website. And next is our niche motorcycle program, Ride the Highlands, that celebrated 10 years in 2023. So this program started with 4 themed routes and 100, a little bit more than 100 operators, and now counts 12 motorcycle routes and at least double as much or more operators that are part of this program, amounting to about 5,000 kilometers of routes in Ontario's Highlands. Again, as mentioned before, this fiscal, we also started an expansion program, thanks to the FedDev grant, adding 3 more adventure routes and 2 more to come, thanks to the FedDev contributions. So since the program started, it has become a renowned program among riders, and to the point that Destination Ontario also took notice and promoted this as one of the 5 motorcycle routes in Ontario to the US market, resulting in more than 9 million impressions and a total of 110,000 referrals to the Ride the Highlands websites. I would like to acknowledge the people who administered the program for us, the fine folks at BCUs, Chris, Bev, and Kristen, which of course you've seen before, as she was one of the fast ones who won the game. They are amazing. They have so much patience with me, and they take amazing care of the people that are in that community, the riders, because they have a passion themselves to ride the routes. They engage with the other riders, and this is why this is such a successful program for us, is their passion. So thank you again, fine folks at BCUs. Next is our travel trade program. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with Holly, and she has been working with 26 partners representing businesses and organizations to sell what we have to offer to our international travel buyers. Her work has included hosting familiarization tours in the region for buyers and media from all over, in particular from Germany, the UK, and France. She also participated in Rendezvous Canada Travel Trade Conference in Ontario, and in Quebec City this past spring, and will be headed to Quebec City again for Bienvenue Quebec at the end of this month. And again, she will head to Paris for Showcase Canada at the beginning of November. So the effort of Holly Blefgen and the partners has established our region not just as a premier destination in Ontario, but in the world. This reputation has strengthened our relationship with Destination Ontario and Destination Canada, whose support is essential for leveraging our dollars to take part in those high caliber travel trade opportunities. Again, for more information, please feel free to follow up, and you can reach out to Holly directly at trade@ohto.ca. And looking ahead to 2025, we have an amazing campaign that we just produced that will be launched next summer. And this is a video and content development project that will capture an invitation from Ontario's Highlands to come and enjoy the benefit of nature while respecting physical and spiritual connection that it brings to the visitors. And the title of the campaign is If Nature Had a Voice. Please note that there will be many opportunities for the operators to be part of this campaign. So we will connect at a later time, and please feel free to connect with me later to ask me how can you be part of this to leverage the campaign for your business exposure. Again, the campaign is going to speak in the voice of nature, relaying the stories and information that nature would want the visitor to know. And it's far from requesting that no one visit the area, but nature would like people to take joy and beauty of nature and everything that comes and all the benefits that come from it. So this is going to be absolutely stunning and incredible content. Of course, this year, in 2025, we will continue our partnership with Destination Ontario, and we're gonna do the winter partnership this year as the outdoor pillar. And again, we will continue our Culinary Tourism Alliance Do Something Delicious feature this fall and winter as well. And here we go. Last but not least, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about the Booker, which is a digital booking pathway to enhance the online booking process for both the consumers and the operators, to help businesses turn just looking into actual bookings onto their own website and on destination marketing websites as well. This new platform is still very new to us. But through the adding of the button on our website, so people can click on book now. And 3 businesses have already generated, 3 businesses that we have onboarded have already generated more than 20K in revenue in a very short period of time. So more to come on that. Once again, we're very happy to discuss this more later. But for now, if you're excited as I am about all the campaigns, you probably would want to get involved too. So here's what we have: many ways to stay in the know and get engaged with our content. All of this I shared with you is focused on visitor and consumer, but we do also have a strong industry focus, of course. So I now pass the baton to our Director of Industry Development, Kasey Rogerson, who will be presenting the projects and initiatives that strengthen our communities. Kasey, take it away.
Thank you, Luisa. So yes, as we look back on the year since this time last autumn, we highlighted the many initiatives that we delivered to support the tourism industry, from the development of new offerings, enhancing the skills and knowledge of our industry, or being strategic with evidence-based decision-making, to tapping into the latest tourism trends, and then growing our network within Ontario's Highlands. We've been enhancing our communications with our members. Oh, hang on a second. There we go. And while we've continued to do these initiatives, further refining them to be as effective as possible, we've made great progress in all 5 of these focuses. Next slide, please. If we first look at partnerships, earlier this year, the Eastern Ontario Rail Trail Loop Partnership Project came together. This partnership focuses on the development of a new cycling experience within Ontario's Highlands, a collaborative effort between Ontario's Highlands and the counties of Frontenac, Lanark, and Renfrew, as well as the towns of Smiths Falls and the township of Rideau Lakes. This year has been phase 1, the assessment of the loop and its market readiness. And then the partners will be facilitating community engagement sessions over the course of next year. Click, please. We were excited to announce recently that we received $78,000 from FedDev through the Tourism Growth Program. And on September 27th, we launched this project and celebrated the contribution from FedDev in Smiths Falls at the Railway Museum of Eastern Ontario. This evening also welcomed international delegates participating in a trail journey that showcased this very rail trail loop and was part of the World Trails Conference that was hosted in Ottawa just last week. Next slide. We're continuing to keep a pulse on research and best practices. The first annual Unlocking Tourism Trends white paper was released in January of this year. And as Nicole noted, we will once again be releasing one in January. And this will focus on supporting our operators and communities to better prepare for the 2025 season. This report also features the outcomes from our annual tourism stakeholder survey, which I can share a link afterwards in the slide deck. And this report will actually also be further enhanced by another partnership we joined in the spring. Next slide, please. We've partnered with a consortium of RTOs and TIO, the Tourism Industry Association of Ontario, to work with the SCIFT advisory team to explore a 2-year data and insights research plan. Click, please. As we've expressed a need for timely and relevant data and research that can better inform our programs, product and experience development, as well as marketing and investment attraction strategies, the data and insights we'll receive through this very partnership will enhance our annual Unlocking Tourism Trends white paper, as well as provide how best to strategize for 2025. The goal of this RTO research partnership is to bring together the data that will help us make informed decisions and ensure that our stakeholders, including all of you, can communicate the impact of tourism in our region. We are pleased to be active partners in this research project and supporting the development of an evidence-based decision-making culture here within Ontario's tourism industry. Part of this research project also includes us being a DMO partner in Destination Canada's new Canadian Tourism Data Collective. This is a new national dashboard platform that harnesses the power of Canadian tourism data, research and insights, including that of Environics analytics data products. If you haven't had a chance yet to look at this dashboard, I'll be sharing a link in our slide deck, and I encourage you all to check it out. There is a wealth of data that is readily available free to all of you, including a very neat section called Tourismscapes, which actually drills down to the municipal level. Okay, next slide. To support the industry with skills development, we've continued this past year to deliver training under our Expand Your Knowledge series. This has offered free webinars that varied in topics from AI's role in tourism, disability inclusive hiring practices, creating short form video, such as Reels on Instagram, learning about making the shift to a more sustainable business, and how to use the ministry's trend model. In fact, we've hosted over 22 webinars since 2022 when we launched Expand Your Knowledge. Since then, we've offered training to 200 plus participants and have had over 500 views on our recordings. We are now working on converting these topics into courses on the OHTO member portal, which each of you and all our members can access at any time and be able to track your progress, learning at your own pace. This leads me to how we are strengthening our connection with our membership. Beginning this year, we embarked on migrating our membership management system and member portal into one platform and released our upgraded member portal in May. This is when we invited all our members to claim their organization's listings with us in Whereabouts. That's the platform that powers our member portal now. Back in May, we also talked about the advantages of being a member of Ontario's Highlands Tourism Organization, where your membership gets you access to opportunities that can help you with business operations, marketing, partnerships, and more. If you haven't had a chance to claim your listing and create your member profile with us in the portal, don't worry. I will share a link after the event so you can get right to it right away, as we will be releasing the Learner app to members later this week. The Learner app is where you can access the courses that I just mentioned that we are creating with the resources through the Expand Your Knowledge series. 4 courses will be available starting later this week, which include the marketing partnerships available with us, please, how to create short form videos and why it's great for marketing, 2S LGBTQIA+ welcoming spaces, and mental health and tourism. We also have a Wander Sustainably with Ontario's Highlands course that's almost ready to be released, so stay tuned. I encourage you all to watch for these new courses to be added, as well as others that will be added regularly as time permits, and we will share it in our monthly Highlands Highlight newsletter. So don't worry, you'll be informed. We've also been focused on our member outreach and helping facilitate the conversation around responsible tourism in our communities. We continue to be out and about across the region as part of OHTO on the Go, connecting with our members and building our network. Since last October, we've attended 8 events and will be attending 3 more before this calendar year ends. Louise and I have also experienced a significant growth in the number of OHTO discovery calls booked with us. We've had 37 calls alone since the start of January, an average about 1 to 2 per week, with new or current members looking to learn more about working with Ontario's Highlands. These sessions are great because they inform our team of the amazing experiences being offered across the region. These calls have been extremely beneficial to our members as well. Many have given feedback on feeling optimistic and heard, feeling a sense of community amongst the tourism industry locally, and are very appreciative of the range of next steps and opportunities that they feel comfortable moving forward with. These calls have also led to some really amazing partnerships between us and the operators, particularly with marketing campaigns, leveraging opportunities to be as efficient as possible with resources. And it's been able to create win-wins for everyone involved, which is obviously great. And with that, just as we have a number of programs and opportunities available to the industry, we also have many ways that you can connect with us and our members. So majority of you are already receiving our Highlands Highlight newsletter, and this does continue to be our primary way of sharing important information and updates. So please keep an eye out for them. We also have industry-focused social channels, and I encourage you to follow these so that you can stay in the know as opportunities arise. And I also highly recommend booking a discovery call with us so that you can update us on your offerings, and then Luisa and I can actually help identify programs, partnerships, and resources that will meet your specific needs. And if you're not, a link to book a meeting with us will be shared in the slide deck. So thank you all for your time today. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Megan to wrap up our Executive Director's report.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nicole, Luisa, and Kasey, for your presentations of the Executive Director's Report. They're always so inspiring. So can I get a motion that the members of Ontario's Highlands Tourism Organization accept the Executive Director's Report as presented? I just need someone to... So I've got Cindy moving the motion and Mike seconding the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. So with that, we're at the end of the OHTO annual general meeting portion of our session. So I'd like to call the meeting adjourned at 11:02 a.m. And just before we pop into details of our break, Nicole just wants a moment.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted very quickly, we've had some good chats happening through the chat function. I've also received some messages directly through text. And I just wanted to we take this opportunity through this event to share our and celebrate some of the things we've been able to achieve together. But as you go into the break, I thought this might be a great opportunity as well. You know, just to remind you, yes, we accept comments and questions, but share your celebrations, share your successes. I know that Sir Sam's Ski and Bike, for instance, I put a lot of investment into their lookout tower, and it's finally opening this Friday, which is amazing. So if you have something exciting that's happening with your own businesses or organizations, please feel free to share that in the chat so we can all be aware of it and celebrate it along with you. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. So we're going to move into a 5-minute break.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I am so excited to introduce to you our guest speaker. Ben is a seasoned tourism industry expert with over a decade of experience and is co-founder and partner of Destination Think, a globally recognized tourism consultancy firm. Ben's expertise lies in his ability to decode complex situations and use his EQ to understand client expectations. He leverages his unique skill set to communicate in a friendly, approachable way that helps him develop long-term relationships with his clients. Throughout his career, Ben has worked with clients from all over the world, including destinations, governments, and private sector businesses. He has helped develop and implement marketing strategies, create sustainable tourism plans, and facilitate stakeholder engagement processes. As a co-founder of Destination Think, Ben has been instrumental in growing the firm into a global leader in the tourism industry. He is constantly seeking new opportunities to innovate and evolve the firm's offerings to meet the ever-changing needs of the industry. And here at OHTO, we've had the privilege of working with Destination Think over the years in a variety of ways, and absolutely can echo the fact or endorse the fact that they are a true innovative firm. So welcome, Ben. Apologies for the last name.
Not a problem.
But we're looking forward to what you are going to present to us and our members, and hopefully that'll spark some great conversation in our Spark session. So over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. I really appreciate that. I really got to change that LinkedIn profile, don't I? Description. But yeah, my name is Ben Vadasz. I'm the co-founder of Destination Think. I'm based out of Vancouver, but more importantly, I'm 4 weeks into my first child. I'm on my second coffee, and I have a silly Aussie accent. So some of the things I'm going to say today, I hope they resonate, but a fair chance I might miss a few things. So let's just hope that in 20 minutes, I'm going to present a few concepts. There's 3 parts to my presentation. I want to show how Ontario Highlands local bike initiative became a global best practice. That's section 1. I want to give some examples of how to spark your industry to do more or think about what's next. And I want to give away a few free ideas to operators to drive more money into the front door. Okay, that sounds good. Now, if I just but in saying that, let's just make sure that we can change a slide. There we are. Before I get started, I want to talk about sort of our origin story at Destination Think. We've been around in the tourism industry since 2006, when we did Tourism Australia's first ever social media campaign. And from there, we started a social media digital agency of record. And then the last probably 10 years, we started to work towards some of the most innovative tourism strategies in the world, moving towards sustainability, regenerative travel, whatever you want to call it, but trying to push destinations to go further. And that's one thing that we noticed around the world, is that destinations like Ontario Highlands are looking to do more. And what we noticed is that we've done about over 100 strategic plans. Some have been incredible and some still sit in drawers. And what we noticed is that the average tourism strategy is between 86 pages and 123 pages, and no person in the community should ever have to read a full tourism strategy. So how do we get more out of the tourism strategies, and what does the community actually want from tourism? And we've seen that the highlights of that and the lowlights when it comes to over tourism as well. And when we did that, we noticed that we were doing incremental gains. We were doing a strategy individually with destinations. So as we look forward into 2024 and the next 10 years for Destination Think, we wanted to think about how do we 10x our impact rather than just doing one-off projects. And that led us to sort of thinking about what next for Destination Think. And in the background of all of this is the climate crisis. You know, the destinations are under growing pressure. We've seen this around the world. You know, basically the world is flooding, it's burning, it's melting, and we continue to travel, and the status quo is continued. So what can we do to create a bigger impact for the global tourism industry? And that's how it led to some of our work with Ontario Highlands. And what we keep coming back to is, what is our BHAG? And you may have heard of a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. JFK on the left here, he's probably the most famous BHAG in the world. How do we put a man on the moon by the end of the decade and bring him home safely? And some of the best tourism BHAGs in the world is all about galvanizing your community. And from what I heard earlier, like Ontario Highlands is well on its way with that. Some of the more famous ones in Queenstown in New Zealand, their BHAG, their tourism strategy is one sentence: carbon zero by 2030. Super simple, but what they understood is that if we don't accomplish that, then that's everything. And this is one of the first ever in the world community-led tourism strategies. It's been signed by every council member on the council, which in legislation is incredible. Revelstoke in British Columbia, their number one tourism priority is affordable housing for frontline staff. Those kind of simple one-liners makes people understand what is the value of tourism. And if we can galvanize communities, if we can galvanize the global tourism industry, then we don't have to defend the value of tourism. We understand exactly what it can achieve. So I'm trying to plant a seed here in thinking for maybe the Spark session and for Ontario Highlands in the future. What is the seed of the tree that we want to plant to see that tree in 10 years? So what is the seed that we want to plant to see that tree in 10 years? That's the kind of impact that we're trying to achieve, and I'm going to lead into that. My personal BHAG for Destination Think is to never do a one-off project ever again. As in, if we're solving a tourism challenge, how can other destinations benefit from that? One thing that we learnt is, and maybe for Ontario Highlands as well, and for anyone in business here, every year we do a research project internally at Destination Think. So earlier this year, my team audited 70 tourism strategies around the world, small, medium, and large, looking for similarities, commonalities, threads. We found that the action items out of any tourism strategy in the world had action items that are similar, whether it's Tahiti, whether it's Ontario Highlands, whether it's Copenhagen. There's 25 tourism action items that are exactly the same in any destination. We found that completely interesting. In all, we found about 300 action items that any tourism destination can have. So it's quite an array. And we're like, wow, no wonder it's slow to get tourism strategies implemented. But then we dug a bit further and we looked for a hypothesis, which is it the tourism strategies that are hard to do, or is it that the solutions already exist? And that led us to a second hypothesis, which is, do the solutions already exist? And what we found was over 500 tourism strategies or solutions that already have world-class action items, that have solutions that are already done. And it's world-class in their case studies. So that led us to thinking, so it's not that the answers don't exist, is that the DMOs and the tourism boards don't know that they exist. So that led us to the answer that the global tourism industry suffers from incrementalism. We're all trying to do it by ourselves. So what can we do as Destination Think is we want to centralize all those solutions into one hub and show the tourism industry that everyone thinks the grass is greener. And what we wanted to create is a mosaic of what a perfect destination could be by pulling 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 things from every tourism board in the world. Because what we found is that every destination has 1 or 2 world-class examples to be able to share with the rest of the world. So the solutions already exist. So our team found over 700 solutions around the world. And now that we know the solutions exist, we know that tourism boards are the perfect conduit because they're the storytellers that can tell the solutions. And they're the conduits between the communities and the visitors. So the opportunity there is massive to enhance the DMO's status to be able to tell those stories, because that's the superpower of any DMO. So what we did is we literally picked up the phone earlier this year and we rang 153 destinations and we said, do you feel like you're working in silos? And the answer was, yeah, everyone nodding their head. And we said, if there's one thing that you could teach the world, what would it be? And over 100 destinations, including Ontario Highlands, said, yes, we have one thing we'd love to teach the world, which I'll show you in a minute, the example. With those 100 destinations, we came together and decided to launch the Solutions, which is on World Tourism Day, which is September 27th. We rang up the UN and said, hey, we're going to bring 100 destinations together to show the tourism as a global force for good. And we actually followed the time zones around the world, showing over 100 solutions from destinations around the world. What we hope is that people can link up and say, yeah, that's a best practice. I never thought about that. That could totally tick a box for our destination. What we're trying to achieve is how do we leapfrog over incrementalism and just get to the solution, so we're not spending money working on a strategy or planning or trying to look at a blank piece of paper and say, what should we do next? But rather than spending time, energy, and resources on the solution and how to implement that. And part of World Tourism Day on September 27th, which we'll do every year, we highly recommend you come and check it out, is that we launched the 100 travel innovations, which is what Ontario Highlands are involved in. So this is a mosaic of 100 travel innovations that destinations can go to. And what we're hoping to show is that there's a safety and power in numbers, as in, it's not Nicole's idea, it's not Kasey's or Luisa's, but rather it's been proven by another destination that has invested time, money, and energy to show a case study that's proven, that has results, and that can be implemented anywhere in the world. So that leads me to how Ontario Highlands got involved. So you guys have a solution that you put forward, which was the biking program that you put together with the, hang on, I'll get this right, Rotary Club and Algonquin Outfitters, the local bike shop, and there's 6 free bikes. And as by itself, you're like, that's not really a global best practice, but it is. And the point of it is there's 100 solutions. You're part of the pie. You're part of giving this solution to the world. You got 6 free bikes. It costs $16K, 3K annual maintenance. In measuring the success, I think in the case study, Kasey and Luisa, you had up to 28 bikes unlocked per week, which is fantastic. That's terrific. And you got a chance to share that with the world. And part of that is to show there's a proven case study and that it's working. It's simple. It's easy to do. Probably not that easy for the people that are involved, but take it to the next level of raising the impact. Imagine if every DMO in the world went to their Rotary Club and said, hey, this has been proven in Ontario Highlands. Can we implement that here? You're truly sharing something easy and simple to implement and taking the risk mitigation out of that solution. Random quiz pub fact that you might want to know, there's over 46,000 Rotary clubs in the world. So putting this forward, if every DMO went to their Rotary club and said, hey, do you want to work on this together? That is a huge impact that Ontario Highlands has helped the global tourism industry with. And I'm kind of hoping that other destinations are getting in contact with Kasey and Luisa and Nicole and say, I'd like to know more about that program. It seems simple, but are there learnings? What mistakes were made? How can we do that? What do you suggest? And that is resonating with both increasing the local quality of life and also for visitor experience, which I think is a win-win. So I think I heard before about the bike patch club or the trails earlier, I think from Luisa. But the question here on this thing is, how can each operator benefit from this or increase this sort of program, this initiative? And the answer is sort of, could your business benefit from more bike riders coming to your business? Then I think you should sort of support this kind of initiative. And then also, how can we support the Rotary Club and the Tourism Board to enhance this program? So I think Kasey told me there's 88 people that registered for this call. That's $30 each, and we could get a new bike every year and grow this kind of initiative. So just food for thought. I think this is a great example of showing something simple that you can teach the world. So congratulations to everyone involved in this program. It's been shared by over 100 destinations around the world, about 53 news outlets around the world, and hundreds of thousands of consumers. So definitely check that out when you get the chance, and I'll send you a link shortly. I want to show a few more examples from around the world from the 100 Solutions and World Tourism Day. This one is the first fossil-free fuel farm. It's a cherry orchard in New Zealand, in Queenstown. I love this example because it's agriculture. It's the first electric cherry farm in New Zealand. And he went electric because Mike is his name, the farmer. It saved him over $50,000 in operations costs, which is what a farmer wants to do, is save money when they're growing their plants. It's a product differentiation because it's fossil free, and he's 100% sold out in his product ahead of time, which in itself is operationally incredible. Saving money, selling out, differentiating your crop. But from a tourism perspective, this farm actually brings 10,000 people a year, 10,000 farmers to the region a year. So it's an incredibly fascinating niche and something to think about outside of just pure visitor target profiles. And what the DMO does is actually help them facilitate open days at the farm in the off season to boost the visitor numbers when they're most needed. So the average length of stay for the farmer visiting this farm from other regions around New Zealand or the world is 3 to 7 days in the off season. So food for thought, if you know someone in the agricultural industry, maybe not so much in tune with tourism, there's a huge opportunity there to get them involved. Queensland has a fascinating citizen science on the Great Barrier Reef. Hopefully you're familiar with the Great Barrier Reef, that's my homeland. But science isn't well funded in Australia. And so the university got in touch with the Tourism Board and said, we don't have the money and the resources to get data from exclusive, hard to reach places in the reef. How would you feel about getting visitors to go there? So the scientists told them where on the reef they need data from, and the Tourism Board went out and promoted that they're looking for citizen science. To date, at the moment, it's increased the visitor spend by 700,000 in the Great Barrier Reef, and it's created over 18 million in earned media, which I think is amazing. It sort of plays on the exclusivity and scarcity. Not everyone can go to these areas of the reef, but if you go there, you get to actually give back to the science community, and they're incredibly thankful for the visitors because it's kind of the right kind of visitor. They pay a little bit more, they stay a bit longer, and they're giving back. So food for thought, if there's any scientists on this call or eco-sensitive areas in Ontario Highlands that you need more science-based data on, this could be an idea. The Faroe Islands, I'm not sure if anyone's seen this one. It's kind of a big deal in tourism circles. But a few years ago, Faroe Islands is, I think, just above north of Scotland, near sort of Iceland and Norway, basically in the middle of nowhere. And a couple of years ago, they decided to say, we're closed for tourism. And it really caught the global attention. And then they clarified, they said, well, we're closed in September. We only want volunteers to come in September and help rebuild the trails. So no visitors, but if you're a volunteer, you can come. And everyone was kind of like, what? How can you do that? And 50,000 people signed up to be a volunteer in September. And they only took, I think they took 2,000, if I'm not mistaken. So 50,000 people gave their emails up to come work in Faroe Islands in September, which is historically an off-season. It's shitty weather, and they signed up. So even I signed up. I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And the point of it is that 2,000 people were selected, and they hadn't selected people from around the world. And they had to fly there. They paid their way. They paid their accommodation. I think they were given a few meals for their work. But the point of that historically is in September, they didn't even have 2,000 people. They're 100% full in September. So usually September is a signal to end the summer season in the Faroe Islands. Instead, they extended a full month of 100% occupancy to show locals that visitors don't want to just trash the place. They're happy to come back and make it even better. So food for thought if there's any trail makers on this call. So it brings you back to this slide. This is just food for thought here. What is your BHAG? And when I say your BHAG, either your business or Ontario Highlands. I heard some incredible things this morning, but I like Albert Einstein's quote, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. And to give you a clue, it's not a 123-page tourism strategy. It's a story of value. And I think I like what I heard before. I think it was Nicole that mentioned it. Luisa, the video series next year that you're going to do about listening to nature or the sounds of nature. You're on the right track there. But what is the BHAG? What is the one line that anyone in your community can say about tourism that understands the values of what you stand for? And that's how you galvanize a community. That's how you galvanize the vision of your business as well. So the hint is KISS. I don't know if you remember from university days, but keep it simple, stupid. Always whittling it down to the simplest thing that you can communicate to visitors and locals to make it resonate. So again, I'll reiterate Queenstown in New Zealand, carbon zero by 2030. Nothing matters outside of that to them. So my ask of this call, I think we're doing all right for time, but I'll keep going, is everyone on this call, my ask is to go to this website. It is the 100 travel solutions that Ontario Highlands is involved in, plus another 99 destinations. So go to this website, have a look around, try to find 6 to 9 ideas as a group, whether it resonates with your business, your industry sector, the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, and find 9 ideas and share them with the DMO and say, let's do it. Like, we've got that challenge. They found us a solution. We're willing to resource it, or how do we resource it? And I think people are burnt out about talking, and the whole point of this entire campaign and why I hope Ontario Highlands got involved is show, don't tell. I'm kind of burnt out about people talking about sustainability. It's time to show, don't tell. Show us your action. Show what you're up to. Next slide. I like this slide because we're all here to share how do we utilize DMOs better, I guess, if I really cut through it. And I believe that DMOs have superpowers. The power of 3 to thrive. I'll say it again. The power of 3 to thrive is what are the 3 things for the green visitor economy to succeed? Not just sustain, but how do we thrive? And there's 3 words: encourage, incentivize, and celebrate. And encourage is the strategies, it's the plans, it's the campaigns. The incentivization is the education and the funding. And the celebrate is the storytelling. And that's the fun bit. And that is where DMOs can really do the superpowers. So if you have a success or a win, Ontario Highlands to Ontario Tourism to Destination Canada to the UN, that's how the chain works. And the global spotlight is available to the smallest of initiatives. And I think as an industry, globally and locally, I think we do ourselves a little bit of disservice of saying, oh, we're not really doing anything. You'd be surprised. If you have a win, I really encourage you in 2025, just try to take that hat off and share successes with someone, with anyone, Luisa, Kasey, Nicole. It's just important because you never know how far that can go. You know, that little bike program in Ontario Highlands is now on the global map. That's really exciting for me to say, you know, by itself, probably not garnishes a campaign worthy of Ontario Highlands to say, oh, that's hard to present to the industry. But for us to show this to the world, it's an absolute honor because it's simple, it's got a solution, and it's proven. So those kind of things are really key. And the key for this campaign for us, the 100 travel innovations, was that sustainability reminds us of social media back in 2010. Back in 2010, Nicole and every other tourism board was trying to set up social media, and we could probably do that for 5K. You know, all your social channels will do a social media campaign. but it didn't have a dedicated budget line item. Fast forward to 2024, sustainability doesn't quite have a dedicated budget line item right now. And Nicole, maybe you disagree or not agree, we can have a chat. But the whole point of that campaign is we wanted to knock it out of the park on the first go. So for your investment that you put in, we, I don't know what it was, 100x it for 5K. It's now $1 million campaign. And the whole point of that is we hope we showed you that your local initiative is on the global stage. Now, how do we 10x that next year? How do we keep going in that same direction? I can't see any. I've lost the ability to look at the chat, but unmute if you have any questions. Just in the final section, I'll just go fairly quick, but I just want to give a couple of free ideas that I've seen around the world for operators. I really like this idea. I'm not sure if anyone's seen it, but it's the coral gardeners out of Tahiti. This teenager, he had coral degradation. The corals were bleaching, they were wiping out. You can now adopt a piece of coral. It costs $25 and it gives you a voucher. You don't own it, but you adopt it. And the whole point of it is, I'm not sure if you see on my screen, he gives the specific GPS coordinates of that piece of coral. I'm a bit of a map geek. I love it. And one day, now he's got me as an absolute advocate. I want to go to that specific GPS coordinate. I want to see my piece of coral that I bought for my wife for Christmas. Something, if you love something, give it away, that kind of analogy. This is an interesting idea. If you have a forest or if you want to give away trees, don't just give away a random generic tree. Give this the actual GPS coordinates. The point of that is that now that advocacy, people won't save a forest, they save their tree, and that's human psychology. Just think about that as an idea going forward for the Ontario forest. I'd like this to be a thing. Have fun with at least one piece of wayfinding a year. These are some examples from Nova Scotia and another one from North Vancouver. Just have some fun with it. These two signs are probably the most shared, or you talked about Crowd Rift before and the Seek conference. I'm sure there's really good humor in Ontario Highlands just from this call alone. Have some fun with it. And I challenge you as a team, as a committee, come up with one campaign that visitors will take a photo of and say, this resonates with my values. I get Ontario Highlands. I want to be an advocate and come back. This is a great example out of Queensland. See these little bins. Basically, if you fill up this bin with garbage, trash, you get a free coffee. And it sounds pretty simple, but what happens is the kids from this holiday area waking up their parents at 7 a.m. to get one of the 5 buckets, and they fill up the rubbish from clean up the beach. So it's a win-win, but this business is actually making 5 times the amount of money than they did any other morning, because you don't go for just one free coffee. You have to buy the kids a hot chocolate. You have to buy a muffin. You have to buy a breakfast wrap. So they're actually killing it and really differentiating themselves. Food for thought. This is a bit blurry, but this is a Nuvik out of Northwest Territories. This is a great campaign to engage the young people of the community, the next generation, but it's called a positivity ticket. If you're actually volunteering, lending a hand, using your manners, picking up rubbish, you get a ticket and you get to come into the local fire hall and get it for a local gift. I think this would be an interesting one for a visitor centre or a business that actually wants more young people in there. Candy shops, I'm not sure, bike shops, you name it. But I really like that. This one's closer to home. This is Stratford, Ontario. Probably know of it, the Shakespeare Festival and everything. When it rains, which is quite often in Canada, the rain hits the pavement and actually comes out, bleaches sort of quotes from Shakespeare or hopscotch setups. So people actually look forward to the rain and actually come to Stratford to check out the bizarre pavements. So really simple thing, but this actually gets picked up virally a lot and people come when the weather isn't good. When the weather isn't good, I mean, Tofino's the classic example in British Columbia. They literally made up an entire season, which is storm watching, which is people in office blocks and high-rise buildings literally come to watch a storm. They sit and watch rain, and that still blows my mind, but it's 100% full. Wrapping up, I think when we present to people, change is daunting. But if you have a mate or support pushing in the same direction, then it's worth it. Some people look at this image and say that's daunting to go traveling by yourself. But imagine if there's a friend taking this photo, and you've got 88 mates on this call. You've got, a DMO that wants to hear your story and help bring more business into you. So let me give you one idea. I mean, currently in North America alone, there's $500 million of grants for businesses that want to implement green solutions. Let Ontario Tourism know, let your council know that you want to be a part of that upcoming funding opportunities, because that is a whack load of money, whether that's tax credits, whether it's offsetting business expenses. Those kind of things are important. So heading in the right direction of the green visitor economy to thrive, I think is individually for your businesses a huge opportunity. And the marketing that Ontario Highlands is doing has really caught our attention at Destination Think and that of around the world. So are you world class? Yes, and you're heading in the right direction, which is phenomenal. So keep charging on that train of thought. I also want to hear your story. So that's a QR code. It leads to my email. Welcome to take a photo of it. I'd love to hear your stories. If I can help any of your businesses out personally, you've got full access to our marketing team at Destination Think to share wins and successes. I've been a big fan of Nicole and Luisa's and Kasey's for a while now. So yeah, I think on that note, I'm basically about out of time. Welcome to chat any questions to me, or just shoot me a quick email on that QR code. Who would have thought QR codes would have actually found their place 10 years ago? You couldn't get anyone to use it. So thanks, everyone. I hope you understood my Aussie accent and lack of sleep as a new father. I really appreciate being part of your AGM. Back to you, Nicole.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ben. You gave our attendees so much to think about, and yeah, leading us perfectly into that Spark session. Kasey, do we have time for questions?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so if there's any in the chat, or I think we're safe to use the raise your hand function as well in Zoom. If anyone does want to address or ask Ben a specific question. A moment to see if there are any.
It's kind of a hope not either, but
yeah, put you on the spot. Well, while people are sort of maybe gathering their thoughts, that three to thrive, the encourage, incentivize, and celebrate, I think something I picked up on, and can certainly say that we share as an organization in terms of our approach towards our communities and our sector embracing our wander sustainably approach. The challenge that to put forward to me as well about the line item on sustainability. Here's a different perspective. What we found is that we want that sustainability budget incorporated in everything that we do rather than a line item. We often find that a separate line item for sustainability is like, oh God, we have to think about sustainability and that's something separate. Yeah. But that's the whole point of our wander sustainably approach, is that it's actually weaved through everything that we do. But often, as you said, there aren't a lot of the ideas or of concrete solutions, concrete actions we can take in all of the areas of operations in order to demonstrate that. So all of those examples were certainly getting my mind racing and creative juices flowing. So thank you for that. But just that was my feedback on that comment. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, you totally nailed it, Nicole. I think it's more trying to make sure we can break those silos apart. I mean, back in the 90s, there was no website budget. Now everyone has a website. It's just part of doing business, right? Social media now is basically marketing, right? We don't really have a social media line item budget. It's just word of mouth marketing. So sustainability, it has to be a part of the organization. What I'm sick of hearing is sustainability being praised as what we can't have, rather than what's it increasing. And I think you're already down that path, but it is thrive. And I want thrive to be the word, as in you know, Aspen talks about sustainability as being in business forever, right? That's making more money. So one of my clients in Wyoming, he's like, why can't sustainability just be, how do I make more money? And I'm like, hell yes, like absolutely. Because if you make more money in the green visitor economy, tell someone so that it spreads that groundswell, because if you're making more money, then it makes it easier to bring people towards that. And, you know, we call it the coalition of the willing. There's going to be certain people that don't want a bar of it. That's fine. Don't try to convince them. But the small group that you can take forward in the coalition of the willing, if you can show that you're making more money or bigger tax breaks or anything like that, that's just good business. And I think you nailed it, incorporating that into everything. And I'm not saying change overnight, but I'm saying pick one thing and do it well instead of just using words. And we're talking sustainability to death in tourism, Nicole, and maybe I'm going down a rabbit hole and I'll shut up, but when does it become just good tourism? And, you know, if we can make more money for our industry, that's it. That's all the opportunity I think exists. So leaving the world a better place, heck, that might be nice too. And doing something bigger than just one person.
Couldn't agree more. So Kasey, do we have any questions coming from our delegates, or
No, I don't.
Okay.
Nothing came through on the chat, but I think you just gave so many great things to think about, Ben. So, and I think everyone's ready for the Spark sessions to be able to share.
Awesome. Over to you, Kasey.
Just waiting for everyone to come back from the breakout rooms, and hopefully everyone had a great time sharing some of the inspiring ideas you might have, or the ways that you can be a change maker in your own community, and talking about things that have sort of transpired based on how things you've heard about through the AGM. So as I mentioned, there was an OHTO director or a staff member, Nicole, was in a room as well, taking notes on some of the themes and examples that were shared for discussion. And these will be actually discussed and incorporated at the annual board retreat as the board thinks about strategic planning and what we may be taking on or looking at for next fiscal on an operational level. So thank you everyone for sharing in this exercise. We truly do appreciate your insights. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Megan.
So just a few messages of thanks just before we wrap up today. I wanted to thank everyone again who took the time to join us on this rainy fall day. I hope you'll leave here inspired by Brendan's presentation and have some positive takeaways from it. I also hope that the Spark session inspired you to continue working towards more collaborations within your own communities, focusing on our Wanderer sustainability approach. We can all be change makers. As always, we encourage you all to continue engaging and participating, especially in our online surveys. This really helps us in creating programming opportunities that will help our members most and directing learning opportunities towards what you need the most. We also love hearing your stories. If you want to share, please reach out. Let's continue to inspire each other and our communities, continue to learn and grow. Let's continue to share our stories, and let's continue to create the most amazing region to welcome our visitors. On behalf of the board, we hope you take the time to rest and relax during this downtime if your season is coming to an end. And for those who are gearing up for a busy winter season, we hope that the weather is chilly and the snow is plentiful. We look forward to some amazing and exciting things to happen in our 15th year. So we will see you all then. Thank you. And I'll pass it on to Nicole.
Thanks, Megan. I don't think I could have wrapped it up any more beautifully than you have. But thanks again to everyone for your enthusiastic participation. And we are all looking forward to the year ahead and continuing to strengthen our relationships with you and the communities we serve. Very quickly, Megan mentioned surveys. Again, that's so important to participate in. That's how we understand what your needs are. So let your voice be heard. There's a post-event survey, that gives us information about what you thought about this particular event, as well as our annual stakeholder survey, which is a more, comprehensive survey that tells us how your summer's been, what are some of the challenges you're facing, some of the successes, and all of that gets evaluated and analyzed and presented to the directors at the board retreat. And definitely guides the process in terms of deciding what we want to focus on for the year ahead. So please do submit your responses to that. We've presented a lot of information today, and hopefully we've piqued your interest to learn more. As we noted in the beginning, we will be sharing this recording along with the materials that also have additional links within the documents to dive deeper into some of the opportunities and programs that we offer. But please feel free to reach out directly to us, email, phone. We're always available to answer your questions and would love to hear from you. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to Ben for your presentation, and thank you to our sector for all the hard work that you do on a daily basis that makes our region so amazing. So have a great day, and we'll see you soon.